It must have been very hurtful for you as his mother.
Oh, my
Some of the things that Michael was accused of, the court cases he had to fight and so on. How did you feel as his mother?
Oh, my gosh. It almost destroyed me in a way, you know, when I say it just hurt, because I know Michael didn't do those terrible things. But then I say, there are so many wicked people. Why are they doing this to him?
What do you think, as his mother, caused his death?
I don't know. All I know is they used propofol, and they shouldn't have used it, and they used it in the wrong setting. That's all I know, and that's what causes death.
What are your feelings towards Dr. Conrad Murray? Do you blame him?
You know what? I can't even describe the way I feel about him. He did a terrible thing, and it might have been others involved. I don't know that, but I feel that. You know what? I'd rather not answer that question. The only thing he did for a person's life, 4 years in jail is not enough. I'll never see my son again, but he can get out and he'll enjoy his children. But
Michael trusted him.
yes, he did. He did. He trusted.
He trusted a lot of people.
He trusted everybody.
Did you meet Conrad Murray?
Never met him. Still to this day, I have never met him.
Has he ever tried to contact you?
I don't think so.
He's ever written to you or anything?
No.
I mean, it was a devastatingly awful thing to happen. You lose this son of yours. He's just 50 years old. I mean, it's half a life, really.
Yes.
Will you ever get over this, Catherine, do you think?
Never. Every morning, all through the day, I think about Michael. If I wake up through the night, my mind is there. But
what do you think when you think of him?
I just miss him. But being a Christian and believing in the resurrection, I feel that I'll see him again. I'm sorry,
It's perfectly understandable. You're his mother, you know. It's, I can't imagine a worse thing. I'm a parent myself to 4 kids. I can't even imagine how horrendous it must be to lose a child.
I know.
It's so unnatural, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it should be.
Lots of people say, Catherine, that Michael, in the build-up to his death, was working too hard, was too tired, he couldn't sleep, all that kind of... You've heard all this. Is that true? Because I've also heard from people that were working with him on the tour and everything, that he was pretty fit, that he was enjoying it, and he was having a good time, and he was excited. What's the truth?
Excuse me, what's...
How did you think he was in the build-up to his death, physically?
You know, we have a trial going on, and I'd rather not say. I've talked a lot already about it.
But were you concerned about him?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because when they told me that he had 50 shows going on, I was concerned about those shows. I thought it was a little bit too much, because Michael hadn't been on stage for about 10 years, you know. And I called them, and I told them, because the way they had it structured, they said every other night that he would be working. On a night, off a night, on a night, off a night. And he was used to working at least once or twice a week. And I just kept calling them, telling them they had to change that schedule, because that was, I didn't like the way it was going. I thought it was a little bit too much for him.
Did he listen to you, Michael? Or
Oh, yes.
did you feel that there were bad people around him?
Yes, I do.
Enabling, I guess is the word you would use, people that were just allowing him to...
It was, I just don't want to answer those questions right now, but I do feel that it was. They didn't care about him. All they cared about was money.
It was I'm back now with Michael Jackson's mother, Catherine, and his longtime friend, Brett Livingston Strong. And advised Michael that his own behaviour, you know, I interviewed Michael a few years ago, and he had a very childlike quality to him. But did you ever feel concerned that he was allowing himself to get put into positions, you know, when he had all these young boys come round to stay and so on? Did you ever say as his mother, Michael, I think you should be careful here. The rest of the world may not see this in the innocent way that you do?
I've talked to him about it. I never told him to stop you having children around, but he did stop having a lot. Most of the children that were around Michael was his own relatives. And I can remember that my sister-in-law, she walked into the store and she saw this, one of these tabloids, and they had something ugly to say in the headlines. And she just went berserk. She said, those are my grandchildren. They're Michael's cousins. Why are they saying this about him?
Do you think all the accusations, the allegations, the trials that he had to go through, do you think it all contributed in the end to his physical condition and his early death? I mean, do you think that all the drugs he was taking for the anxiety, for the lack of sleep, the painkillers and so on, was it all connected, do you think, in the end, to the pressure that he felt and the tension and the stress?
You know what? I think a lot of that was exaggerated about the different things that he was taking. Because I've been to my son's house unannounced, and I've been there announced. I have never seen him in that way. I know he was taking painkillers because he got burnt on top of his head. Very painful. But all this
about the extraordinary level of fame that Michael had, because he was the most famous person on the planet for years. Did that scare you, that level of fame?
No, not really. I was like Michael. I guess he didn't act like it. He didn't act like he was the most famous person in the world. He didn't act like, he was just a down-to-earth person. He's very mild-tempered.
How often would you talk to him?
I talk to him at least twice a month, and sometimes more.
Did you feel you had a very close relationship?
Yes.
Do you feel he confided in you?
Yes, he did.
Did you ever hope that he would find true love?
You know, I always thought about that, but Michael seemed happy, so I wasn't too worried about it. And when he found a lot of joy in his children, and in his some of his nephews and nieces that he was very close to.
I mean, the thing I think that should always be reminded, I think, when we talk about Michael, is just his unbelievable talent. I mean, I had never seen a more talented entertainer. The singing, the dancing, the showmanship. You know, I was telling you before we started about this show I saw in Paris when, you know, he did the stunt at the end and the space guy flies out of the stadium, you know, and it's just so crazy and it was so brilliantly done. You really thought Michael had done this. And it was at the end of a spellbinding concert, the like of which I've never seen before or since. I mean, he was a unique talent, wasn't he? One of the greatest talents ever in entertainment. Can you answer that as his mother or not? Did you feel that?
I did. Michael was a perfectionist. He, whatever he did, he wanted to be the best. He he was the first one to have so many #1 hits on his album. Because remember, albums used to be where you only had one hit or two hits, and the rest of them would be album songs.
All his songs were
And he
#1.
told me, he said, I don't believe in album songs. I believe every song should be a great song.
Would he try stuff out with you? Did he?
Yes, he played most of the things that he had. He played for me.
And if you said, Michael, I don't really like that one, would he drop it?
Yes. You know what? I didn't see anything that I didn't like that he did.
What was your favorite of all his songs?
Man in the Mirror.
Was it? Why?
That's one of my favorites. And I like the Earth song. And
Why Man in the Mirror?
well, it was a message, a great message. A lot of his songs had messages, but I think this was the best of all.
Asking him to change his ways. No message coming in people. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. I'm standing with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message coming in people. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. I'm standing with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clever. It's gonna feel real good. Come on. Just forgive yourself. You know it. You gotta stop being yourself. Woo! We're gonna make that change. Come on. You got to move. You know it. You know it. We're gonna make that change. Come on. You know it. 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 You. Make that change.
Still happy in the end, do you think?
I felt he was happy. I could never, and I always talked to the girl that was the kid's nanny, Grace, and she assured me that, you know, because
Despite everything, he managed to have
A
a
good
lot of
time.
happy times. That's good to hear, isn't it?
Yes, it's good to hear because, but when you know you're not guilty of anything, but if he thought, you know what, if he was guilty of these things they was accusing him, he could never smile again, I imagine, because
This is the crucifixion. You saw Michael's color going from black to white. That's the outside journey. But the inside journey, Michael was going from white to black. Now watch. Michael, and when we were doing the Million Man March, I met with Brother Michael in a hotel suite in New York. And I said, Brother Michael, it's one thing if 1 million women and girls cheer for you, but when 1 million men cheer you, that's significant. I said, Michael, what I would like for you to do is to come to the Million Man March and sing the song, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Michael was all for it, but after we left, somebody persuaded him differently. But Michael gave $100,000 to the Million Man March. I said, Michael, I'm going to step out and call attention to this to the world. He said, you would do that, Minister? I said, yes. I said, I'm doing it because I want you to see that if you stand up in the name of God, you will be the winner. I want you to see that when I step up and call them out, I'll be around. And I'm around. And I'm around. And I'm alive. And I'm getting stronger by the day. God has kept me alive because there's more work for me to do.